What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Wednesday edition of the Pandemic Update for Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. If you're new to my channel, this is where we do the daily pandemic update on all things COVID and any other virus that could be a health threat to you. Lately, we've been talking about a lot of different viruses, and you're seeing cows on the screen here. Yep, yet again, we're going to be talking about one of those other viruses, one that we've been talking about a lot lately, and I'm starting to become concerned that we're going to continue to be talking about it a lot. H5N1. Want to stay informed? Subscribe down below. Got something to say? Leave a comment down below. Like what you see here? Give it a thumbs up, and of course share these videos with anyone you know. First off, two side notes today. Number one, I'm feeling a little bit better, but it's in the morning. When I wake up in the morning, I get very nasal congested. Well, you can hear the nasalness in my voice now, but the post-nasal drip combined with whatever I have, it's just not doing me well. I was able to get my monthly injection today of Exolar for my breathing. They already knew in advance that I was sick. I already talked to them the other day. They said, take it day by day, see how I feel. And I figured, you know what, I didn't want to put it off because who knows, I could be nasal like this for weeks to come. I don't know. When I had COVID in 2020, yeah, I had it for a month straight. There was no test at the time, but I was sick for a month straight. Then, well, all know the story. I got better, and then a few months later, long COVID started up. We won't waste too much time because we are actually limited on time for recording today. Mother Nature is absolutely insanity here. We've been having crazy storms. There's been thunder. What was I just saying? I'm sure you had to have heard that. There goes the thunder. Anyhow, let's get started here. Taking a look at H5N1. It's now showing up in cattle in Ohio. Yes, there are now cows in Ohio. I just found this right before we came on. Dairy cattle in Ohio are now testing positive for the H5N1 virus. And yesterday we were talking about cats testing positive. And unfortunately, I found last night that there were cats that are now dying in Texas. Well, it turns out my website, which is such a great resource, this is why I archive these things, because we can go back to it for reference in a time of need, and right now is one of those times. So I went back, I typed search in my website. We got a search bar up here. It's a forum website. You type something in, it comes right up, and sure enough, I thought there were some cats that were testing positive last year and dying, and there were. Turns out there were 6 cats in the U.S. last year that died, and if I do remember correctly, did not look this up, but I remember retweeting this last year from BNO News. There were also cats in Poland that were getting infected with H5N1 as well. All right, continuing on to this. Whooping cough. It's continuing to be an issue around the world. I did a mini thread on it last night, and one thing that I want to show you in particular, in the Philippines, they're having a big problem with it right now. As of March 23rd, the Department of Health has recorded at least 862 cases of whooping cough, and yes, they have logged 49 deaths. So this is something that is rather serious that we need to keep our eyes on. Now switching over to COVID news. In Western Australia, experts are calling for more research into long COVID. Starting to see a theme here. The United States, we're calling for more research into treatments, into what causes it, into long COVID. It's starting to become a question and thing that's being demanded by many parts of the world. Maybe we need some sort of a worldwide, how we have the World Health Organization? Maybe we need a group of worldwide leaders. I'm just making a suggestion here. A group of worldwide leaders that via Zoom, not in person, via Zoom, come together, gather a bunch of people, maybe some people with money, collect enough money, do some research, and get a organization going here so we can come up with some answers and to some solutions for long COVID, and we can actually help people. I'm one of them, and there's a lot of people out there that are a lot worse than I am, can actually get something done about with long COVID. I think it would really be needed, and now there's no better time than now. All right, moving on. Look at this. New study reveals increased risk of allergic diseases after COVID-19 infection. I literally just found this a little bit ago. I will be tweeting this out. We'll be adding it to the website. Yep, yet again. And I think a lot of people are telling me that their allergies, it's worse after COVID. And you know what? My allergies, they get pretty bad. They've been pretty bad after COVID. However, allergies, I have to say for me, I wouldn't say it was worse after COVID because it's something I've been dealing with since I was a kid. I've always gotten the itchy eye issue. Haven't had it yet this year. Been taking my Allegra despite being sick. Someone said yesterday maybe I shouldn't be taking. You know why I'm still taking it while I'm sick? So that itchy eye issue does not flare up. Because I just know from past experiences, when I get it really bad. All right, moving on. Speaking of weather, speaking of storms, we have to talk about something that's going to be happening next week. And that is the eclipse. Now you're probably thinking, what does that have to do with the pandemic? Follow with me here. It has a lot to do with the pandemic. You may have people that live in Florida, people that live in my city here in Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. Maybe you live in California. Maybe you live in Washington. Well, a lot of people from these different areas are going to come along this path where you'll be able to see the eclipse. Hotels are going to be crowded. Restaurants are going to be crowded. Highways, rest areas, places leading up to these areas are going to be crowded. There's going to be a lot of people gathered. I was just reading a story the other day put out by Pennsylvania, here in my state, our Governor Shapiro. They're expecting, in the Erie metro area, 200,000 people. Start thinking about that. You have Stowe, Vermont up here. It's not a very big town, but hey, it's a big tourism town. I mean, they get a lot of people to begin with for skiing and other times. I bet they're going to get a lot of people for the eclipse. Burlington, Vermont. Flights, they're booked. You can't get a flight into Burlington, Vermont. Hotels, they're booked. Places along the path that you'll be able to view the eclipse, they're crowded. Guess what? People are going to mix and mingle together. We're starting to see a spring wave now form in the Northeast. It's going to leave this COVID spread, and it's not going to stop there. They're then going to travel back to their towns. Who knows? This may help other viruses spread as well. So I am concerned that the eclipse next week is going to lead to an increase in COVID cases in other places. Not only just for the local people that live in these areas. Hey, Cleveland, Ohio. That's a relatively big area in the path of the eclipse. It could be a problem for you, and then, of course, where these people came from. So, yes, things are starting to get rather interesting. Let's briefly take a look at air qualities. I know, this thunder, it's going crazy. Maybe you can't hear it at all. I'm pretty sure you can hear it. It's getting louder as I go on. So, the air qualities for today, they're pretty great across the country. Just a little sliver of bad still along the East Coast. That should improve as this front that is causing this bad weather, it's going to clear down there. It's not going to clear in the Northeast. You're actually looking at a big snowstorm in far Northeast. Yeah, not good. And just our usual suspects out on the West Coast. Taking a look at EMS calls for Philadelphia yesterday. 683 total EMS calls. And taking a look at the burbs. I don't have it up on the screen, but man, this morning was really bad in Chester County, Pennsylvania, for sick calls and respiratory calls. And you know what? Look at this. Montgomery County right now. Respiratory emergency. Vomiting. 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 Another respiratory emergency. Yeah, there's been a lot of sick calls. And just a lot of calls with people being sick lately. And I was told yesterday, Center County, Pennsylvania, starting to get worse. I put on dispatch. Sure enough, it's getting really bad. I actually heard a call earlier, Windy Hill Village. I know exactly where that village is. Believe it or not, my grandmother was there years ago, not living anymore. But the point is, there was a call for someone with breathing difficulty, 82 years old. O2 saturation was down to 70. Yeah, not good. So the number of sick calls are starting to go up again. Here's Chester County, not as many sick calls as this morning. I did a tweet about that. I wish I would have had that up for this update, but you get the idea. Things are starting to, up here in the northeastern states, things are starting to get busy again. Wastewater starting to go back up. I think we're having a spring wave. I don't know how bad it's going to be. Is it just going to be a little rise? Is it just going to be a bump in the road? You got to remember, we had Easter. We had spring break. We had St. Patrick's Day. And now if we go back real quickly, we have this. We have the solar eclipse, which that could get the things rolling in other parts of the United States. All right, taking a look at Walgreens real quickly. The national positivity rate is 13.7%. Prior week was 15.1%. That's a difference of down 1.4%. That's good, but you can see here, Northeast states, red. And we are seeing reds in other parts of the country, like what's going on in Kansas. Take a look at this. Testing is down 57 versus 67. Positivity rate is 10.5% versus 7.5%. It's up 3.1%. Again, that is because of testing. Alabama, you're in the green. That is usually a good thing. Positivity rate is 8.6%. The prior week was 12.5%. That's a difference of down 3.9%. Total test, 93 versus 112. All right, moving on now. Should we look at a couple wastewater sites? Why not? Yesterday we were looking at what was going on in State College, Pennsylvania, and the Northeast. Let's just look at a couple. We'll just do two real quickly because my voice. We might actually lose my voice here pretty soon. Isn't that just lovely? South Parker, Colorado. COVID is dropping at this time. Whoa. What is going on with RSV? Why is RSV having such a dramatic rise in your area? Look at that. I mean, it was going up, but now it's literally going straight up. Okay, that's the most recent update. That will get, altered a little bit. But again, your RSV level is starting to go up again. Influenza A is low at this time. It's saying high, but look at that. That level's not all that high. Influenza B has dropped to low levels. HMPV, wow, that is really starting to go up. Norovirus, you're also starting to see a rapid rise with norovirus. And that's not just one update. That's multiple updates. Norovirus is going straight up for you. Coming down to Mpox, you have had some detections of that. Not good to see. No issues with hepatitis A at this time. And let's do one more wastewater site. And I say we should go down to North Carolina. What's going on in Winston-Salem? Are we seeing any sort of a rise there? No rise for COVID. Ever so slight rise for RSV. Nothing really to speak about yet. Influenza A is tame at this time. Influenza B is dropping. Norovirus, it's still high, but it is dropping at this time. Mpox, some detections. And interesting that there's multiple detections. Could be back to that Mpox issue with wastewater scan once again. And hepatitis A, some recent detections of that virus. All right, let's take a look at what's going on with the latest variant. And we can see JN.1. It's 86% of the cases. JN.1.13 is at 10.8%. JN.1.18 is at 1.6%. New Jersey for today. 296 hospitalizations. And I have to add, yes, only 68 out of 70 hospitals reporting, so 2 are not reporting. Fine. It would appear to me as if for now, New Jersey has somewhat bottomed out, and there is maybe an ever so slight rise, or they're just bouncing off the bottom. The point is they're not dropping very much anymore. You go back to March 23rd, they were at 260. March 27th, 285. They did briefly go over 312 on the 31st. And mind you, this is with 2 hospitals not reporting. It dropped yesterday, and then it rose slightly again today. On a ventilator, 11. Discharges, 33. In the ICU, 48. So we'll have to monitor this. We'll have to see if this becomes just a bump in the road, or if it actually does start going back up again. We'll see. Again, as you know, the Northeast states are starting to see a rise for COVID once again. At least the states that we can look at. Not seeing that rise yet in New York State. 320 positive cases. That's a really good low number. Again, remember, let me pull these up. It does not include these at-home tests. So, yeah, we can't tell you how many of them have turned up positive. And taking a look at the hospitalizations in New York State, that's actually not too bad today. It did come down from yesterday. There was a little bit of an up yesterday. It dropped back down. Same with Long Island. So New York State as a whole, 572 cases. And when we take a look at ICUs, that's 54, excuse me. And again, these numbers are lower than last year at this time. You can see last year on April 3rd, they had 1,009 people in the hospital versus today, which is 572. That is significantly lower than this time last year. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's pandemic update. Again, my concern level for this H5N1, which was the first story that we talked about, it's going up a little bit. I don't think at this time it's going to be pandemic levels like within the next week, but it's something we really have to watch because as time goes on, this could really become a significant issue. Just in general with cattle right now, I mean, the number of cows that are testing positive is going way up, and who knows, it could drive up milk prices down the line, and if we have the chicken problem again, we could see egg prices go back up. So we have to watch, and then of course you have cats, and we need to watch if any more humans test positive, and of course, if we do get human-to-human transmission at some point, that would be bad. Right now, we're not seeing it yet. Let's hope it stays that way. Alrighty, folks, that's it for today's pandemic update. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel down below, and share these videos with anyone you know. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, hopefully it's with a better voice, stay safe, everyone, and have a fantastic Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, everyone.